Hello guys, I am making a continuation video of my first guide because there seemed to be some confusion about um, the way that my guide actually works. A lot of people were saying that my guide was just saying that you should instantly resign to a purple player like on the first gov, and that's not the case. What the guide is supposed to do is to get purple players in play early rather than late. What I'm meaning by this is you want to get the purple players in the lobby to play lots of cards very early on before Hitler Zone, and then based on what cards they play, you can use that to help you read which role they have, and then you can special elect them. And I'm gonna give you an example of why this is a good strategy to win if you're liberal. So here we have a typical game. These would be seats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that order. And you're liberal. So let's say you don't do my meta, and you want to do the old 1-5, 2-6, yada yada. So you do that. 1-5 plays, and the fascist in seat 5 wants the conflict to bring this guy in game eventually. So they do. So 1-5 is a comp, and it's red. This player in seat 5, he is not going to be carrying the game. Instead, he's rather just sacrificing himself as a tool to help bring this fascist into the game. So 1/5 conf to help bring this guy into the game in seat 7. And then 2 drops for Im, and he Ims 6 fascists. So that's 2 reds on the table. And it's 0-2. And then after this, 3-4-7 triangle. So 3-4 is blue, 4-7 is blue, and then 7-3 is blue also, and now it's the new deck. So 3-4 and in the new deck there's about 38% odds of RR happening, and the purple in seat 7 knows this, and he'll take advantage of it. So 3/4 happens, can be blue or red, and 4/7 happens after if it's blue, and chances are one of these govs will be RRR. And for the sake of the video, we'll say it's 4/7. 4/7 is RRR. And now the game is red. So as you can see here, 7 and 3 must now fight for the SC. And who do you think is going to win between these two players? Sure, he played the most recent blue, but this guy has to pick between these two players, and there's a lot more to the game than just playing blues. It's also about how you chat, how you sound, and this guy, this purple, is going to out-chat this liberal here, and he'll probably get the special election. And then from there, he can pick Hitler, or he can take gun and make the game 3-3-3. And the reason why my original guide is so good is because of this scenario right here, where you have a weak player going against a stronger one. And you know, a lot of the times the stronger one will be the player that wins. So yeah, that's why my guide is so good, because it gets the purple players in play early. So now let's say you do my guide. You're like, okay, I want to win the game. I'll follow Gio's meta. Let's see what happens. So you go 1-4, and it's blue. That's great. And the reason why this is actually very important. The reason why you don't go 7 even though my first guide said to pick purple players instantly even if it's off meta, is because you want to triangle with the purple players if you can. And the reason is that when you triangle with them, you force them to touch the deck twice. And you want these players to be playing cards as much as you can get them to. So if you go 1-7, no future, 2-6 will have to play, and then a zillion people touch the deck, and there can be a fascist in here that'll play a red, and then the fascist in like 3-4-5 can get in and make the game messy. And you don't want that, because then you get a similar situation where these guys are taken out, and this guy and someone here must fight for the special election, and he'll win. That's not what you want. So you go 1-4, even though this player isn't normally worth going off meta for, because it creates a triangle with this guy. So you go 1-4, and then on 4-7, which would be this guy and this guy, I'll label it to make it easy. 1, 4, 7. So you go 1-4, that's blue. 4-7, now the fascist has to either play a blue, or he can conflict and take himself out of the game. So he can either blue, so if he blues this, he can play the second blue on 4-7, and then we 9-7-1, and he has to play a blue again, or he can take himself out. And he's gonna know that 1-4 is gonna come next, and that's gonna be blue eventually, and then once that's blue, 4-7 is going to happen again, and he'll have to comp there. So what the fascist here is probably going to do is he's just going to comp 4 right out the gate. So 4-7 conflict. And the reason why this is good instead of the other version is because instead of Medusa or whatever the purple is who would be carrying the game, being the last fascist to fight for that critical special election, he's neutered. He's taken out of the game very early because he must conflict to bring his co-fascist in the game. Whereas before, the co-fascists could conflict and sacrifice themselves to get this purple player in the game. The purple player now must sacrifice himself to get these green fascists into the game. And these green fascists are newbies. They don't know what they're doing. They're going to play a shitload of blues, or actually what they'll probably do is they'll end up coughing or playing reds way, way, way too early and outing their role. And that's going to make it very, very easy for a liberal to get a seed after 4-7 coughs. The table probably 9-2 because 1-4-7 thing didn't work out. And say 2-3-6 probably triangle. That can comp. 6-7 can be a silent drop or something. The point is, these green fascists aren't gonna know that RRR in the next deck is super likely. They're just gonna play the reds themselves. They're gonna do stupid shit. They're not gonna do the optimal stuff, and that's great. It also means that if a bunch of liberals are taken out, and it's two fascists and it's a fascist and a liberal fighting for the special election, we'll make it this to make it the point stand more clearly. This is an even matchup. Actually, this is favored for the liberal team, and at worst, this is even. A liberal could get it, or a fascist could get the special election. It's a toss-up. Whereas before, a very strong player was fighting for the special election against a very weak player. And that was going to inevitably lead to the purple player getting the special election in almost all cases. Just because he's just able to sound so much better. So that's why my guide is so good. You're not I'm going to restate this. You're not, resigning to these purple players round 1. What you're doing is you're getting them in play early because you want them, if they're fascists, to either have to sacrifice themselves so weaker players can get in the game, or, you know, if they're liberal, you want them to play a shitload of blues so that the special election can go to a liberal. It's same thing in this game, you know. You could go 1-5, 2-6 probably happens. That will have to be red eventually, or maybe they'll blue it and hope for RRR, whatever. I'm gonna say these guys are bad, they'll red it. And then 3-7, 7 will eventually play a red card. You know how it goes. You know, it's like, this is kind of a random order, but what's good is that, the point I'm trying to make anyways with this graph is normally there's 2 liberals here and 1-5, this pairing. So one of these guys, assuming no RRR happens, will probably be a very viable SC candidate. Whereas if you go 1-4, 4-7, 7-1, and he doesn't, and 7 doesn't comp 4, which is pretty likely because I think a lot of fascists might be intimidated to comp a good player, or they might want to silent drop to not give info, then all of a sudden 4 becomes a viable special election. And what that means is that this guy is a clown, he's a newbie, he can throw, so you want 4 to get special election instead of 5, and by allowing 4 to play what would be 2 blues on 1-4 and 4-7, he has a very good case to get the special election over 5, and the good thing is that this guy in seat 4 can carry the game and win for liberals much, much more often than this guy in seat 5 can. So that's the Geo guide, well, my guide. The charts might be a bit more unrealistic. Not unrealistic, but the examples I used were kind of just to prove the point. In hindsight, I probably should have switched these oranges around in the first example and made the first 3-4 RRR so that, you know, this guy doesn't have the argument that he played the last blue for the special election, but I don't know. I think my example still proves the point. It's that you don't want this guy to be the carry fascist. If he's fascist, you want to take him out early so that a liberal has, so that when it comes down to Hitler zone or the special election, the pivotal point of the game, a bad liberal won't be fighting a good fascist. That's the goal of the Geo Guide. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you.